It's about to get loud in here. From video games.
Time to eat ass, drink pussy.
Yes, drink pussy.
Mario Kart. Oh, wait.
And play Mario Kart.
Yeah.
There's an entire documentary about, Hatsune Miku.
Yeah. Do I know her?
Well,
I used to have a poster over on my wall.
it's funny you say that.
But I don't really know much of music. There's no her character.
Well, that's just the thing, is there is no real Hatsune Miku.
Yeah.
There's various artists who contribute to the writing of the songs, but it's all text-to-speech, lyric generated, and then, like, they kind of modulate it a little bit.
Yeah, I think they call them, like, Vocaloid artists.
But she has live concerts, right? So, like, you can fucking go and just, like, basically watch a video of...
Exactly.
With smoke and mirrors, of course. But the documentary is not about that. The documentary is about the entire, like, demographic / generation of Japanese men who are legally married to Hatsune Miku.
Legally?
Legally.
You can legally marry a...
So there's there's basically, it follows one guy. I can't remember his name, but he is one of many victims.
One man.
Has all this, like, merchandise in his home of Hatsune Miku.
Yeah.
And
well, you want to support your wife.
One is, well, that's the way he sees it.
Mm-hmm.
The big two for him are the sex doll, and he's got it's sort of like that one.
Not sex doll, like a neon light.
It's a good thing this is a podcast, so they won't have any idea what we're talking about.
Are you talking about the light?
Yes.
I have an LED light of Ibuki Miyoda from Danganronpa 2.
Yeah, however you want to word it.
I didn't say what I'd do with it. With her.
And you would
Not
do
Solaire. I bought a pair of Solaire's. Who gets the love in a night?
anything you would do in a polygamous fictional marriage. There is actually a term for when somebody marries a fictitious character. I didn't get much information in my shock and awe watching the documentary. However, there's a company that is very lucrative. They sell basically like desktop projectors that look kind of like that, except they're animated, and it's Hatsune Miku, and they've integrated Alexa with it in her voice. So basically, it's like talking to Hatsune Miku.
And what website would I go to?
I haven't gotten to the tragic part yet, but...
Tragic part? Somebody die?
Well, in this story, yes, tragedy does happen. In a sense, I'll get to that.
Okay.
So the company, like, was going gangbusters because they were just selling these things by the dozen. And then also, like, the dude has an Instagram as well with pictures of the sex doll as, like, a day outing with his wife.
Yeah.
And he just acts like it's totally normal. He does this thing where, like, he'll make food for two, and then just presumably after he's taken the photo, just eat the second plate.
Sounds like a good life, man.
The tragedy is the company that sells the AI went out of business.
Oh.
So now anyone married to HM can no longer talk to
Big Meek,
their wife. They can't communicate with her.
Wow.
Which is fucking, that's half of it, because the other half would be fucking, I guess, yeah. The rubber horizontal mambo, as it were.
Excuse? What? Rubber horizontal mambo?
Because the doll is made of fucking rubber or some shit. I don't know.
I need to write that down.
Anyway, I mean, I watched this episodically. This was like... I was fucking glued because I just wanted to see through the end. Fortunately, this guy was an OG enough that, like, he had everything, and he couldn't, like, do things like check the weather, but it still is basically an Alexa. So
yeah,
he could do some things, but she's lost her spirit.
There was something I heard about, I don't know what website it was, but it was like there's some sort of companion bot type thing that you can talk to and, like, pretends like it's your girlfriend or boyfriend.
Right.
Inevitably got used for a lot of sexual purposes, right?
I'm sure it did.
And after a certain point, the company that was making that thing was like, no more, it can't do that anymore. Sorry, but, like, that's not the purpose we intended. And everybody who was using it for that purpose was like, oh my god, she's lost her spirit.
Are they fools? Like,
she's a shell of her former self.
You know how much money you could make?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if it was a paid subscription.
They could have bought out, like, Amazon or some shit with that.
But there was a horrendous outcry, and then they put it back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. They pulled a Sonic.
Yeah.
fan demand eventually wore down a monopoly
They got
on a
influence.
character. So, a little fun factoid about those married to the criminal known as Hatsune Miku. It is the only marriage in the world. Actually, in Japan, things work a little differently. Wherein a person over 18, or the age of consent, can marry somebody who is canonically under the age of 18.
Oh, because Hatsune Miku is a minor.
I think she's 16. Unless the age of consent is different in Japan, which I assume it is, because how often... Never mind. Dude, we're coming in hot on this episode.
I know. You had some fucking bangers to come through.
Yeah. I should be like a fucking news anchor with a bushy mustache, like Walter Cronkite, just talking about this shit. Hatsune Miku, here's the scoop. This is Walter Cronkite signing off for one last time. Not because I'm retiring, but because I can't take this shit anymore.
I think I gonna say, because I'm getting married to Hatsune Miku.
Married to
Didn't make it to that.
Miku.
She was 16.
The doll looks petrified because it's a regular sex doll with like regular human anatomy. However, the face is a 3-dimensional representation of like an anime, like of her face. So like, you know, which makes sense in 2D, but those eyes, those painted on.
Yeah, when you put like 2-dimensional characters in 3D, it just doesn't work right because the proportions don't make sense.
Yeah.
And like perspective, when it changes, like the proportions shift.
If they adjusted it slightly.
But then it wouldn't be authentic.
Then yeah. So I mean, I can't imagine just like going to sleep and then like waking up in the middle of the night and having that thing sitting in a corner staring at me. But if
it wouldn't be sitting in a corner, it'd be right in bed with you.
Yeah, that or that.
I guess that might be worse for.
I mean, but like also I'm not insane. So like I would never be in that situation.
Well, I'm open to new experiences.
Look, man, a pillow is a bit different. It's still 2D.
You don't know what's happened to that pillow. You don't know what I put it through.
It's got a weird knot tied at the end of it.
It's been through some shit. It's because the like the zipper fell off, so I just to keep the pillow in there and all my cum, I just tied it up.
Nice save. Yeah. If something ever tragic happened where like I was forced or asked to go like get that for you or something, the ultimate kicker would be like if it was full of bricks. I go like, I can't move it.
You pick it up from the bed, there's like a 4-foot dent in it. Well, I had something that I wanted to talk about regarding a video I just released.
Okay.
On my YouTube channel. I've released many videos of us playing Lethal Company.
I think we're probably about in the golden years of the game's popularity.
Yeah. But the one I just released was like kind of an oldish recording because I just forgot about it. I had it sitting in my project files. And I went back to it. I was like, oh, I can go edit this now. And it was the one where we started doing mildly modded games.
Right.
Kai just had us download a pack without really knowing what was in it. And the first thing I noticed was that the ship inside of it had some new decorations.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
There were posters coating the walls, I would say. I think is the right word to use for it.
I didn't see an inch of spare wall, you know.
That were several advertisements for maybe a magazine issue, it seemed like, was the kind of style.
Well, I don't know like what the source IP for the mod was, but
I don't know.
You know, it seemed like they were interconnected in some kind of a narrative.
Yeah. The poster said Femboys and firearms and had several furry femboys with guns on them and advertising them like it was like at the front page of like a Vogue magazine or something. That type of style.
Vogue is a little generous, don't you think?
People magazine.
Yeah. People definitely I'd see that right on there.
Yeah. And I in the video was very enticed.
Dude, I had to like pause it a couple times and skip ahead because we were just killing times.
So I titled the video Femboys in Lethal Company, very clickbaity style, like with exclamation point, question mark. And I put I cut out one of the femboys from the posters and put it in the thumbnail with a Lethal Company character.
Arguably the
blushing.
most modest one.
So basically what I'm getting at now is I put that out very humorously. I was laughing as I was posting it. It released at midnight, like last night. And in less than a day, it's become my most popular video.
What?
Yeah. It's already got double the views of my previous most popular video.
How many?
Last time I checked, right before we started recording, it was about 1,100.
1,100?
Which like isn't crazy, but it's like crazy for my channel.
Dude, I watched it maybe like at 3 a.m. and it was at like 16 views.
It's got
Oh my god.
1,300.
Is it the Lethal Company part?
No, most of my Lethal Companies get like a few dozen. I almost forgot about this video. I almost didn't post it.
I guess it just goes to show.
Yeah.
Femboys sell.
Where people's ideas are at.
Well, we know where your fan base is now.
I need a cater.
We're gonna be making a couple changes to the channel.
Yeah, go buy some more outfits. I was just kind of having like a mesh of ideas in my head today before we went out. Recently, I've been kind of like thinking about what if I got into some sort of music creation. I don't really know what I do with music. I don't have much experience with it. Like most I had was like music tech in high school.
Right.
So I know a little bit about like how to compose music electronically, like using synths and stuff like that. So I was thinking maybe I could get back into that. I don't really know how to play instruments, but like maybe I could teach myself how to sing or something. I don't know. Have to like find my style, but I don't really know what I'm doing.
Well, you can literally start anywhere. That's just the beauty of it, you know. There's limitless potential, really.
Yeah, and like there's several platforms that I could like post stuff on to share it with and like get advice on how to do things. I can look up tutorials and all that kinds of stuff. Yeah. There's a myriad of possibilities. What kind of music would I be able to do? Like I have kind of a deep voice and I can get it really deep if I try.
Well, what kind of music do you like?
Well, I like a lot of dark rap, dark trap type music is I think the genre is called, and like Corpse does kind of that stuff a little bit. There's another artist that I listen to called Chimera that does dark trap.
Yeah.
You know, you've heard that kind of music that I've shown you a bit. So I had an idea with that specifically coming up, and also this recent video that I released. So you know, Corpse has 2 songs. Cat Girls Are Ruining My Life, and another one that was more recently, Egos Are Ruining My Life. You've heard those songs before.
I'm no stranger to them.
Yeah.
They're great workout music, just objectively.
So I was wondering if maybe my first song introducing myself to the music world,
Femboys
Are Ruining My Life, yeah.
I don't see why not.
What an opportunity. So in the coming months, I guess, look for under an anonymous name on music platforms.
Yeah, that'll really keep your anonymity. Dude, I'm gonna know right away.
I'm
like, Corpse didn't put this shit out.
I would release it under my name or under Sky Quail or something like that. I would want to own it so hard. Yeah, yeah, I think maybe that'd be my first song if I end up going through with this.
Man, that's definitely like a challenge though. I mean, I'm excited for you, man. All I really know how to do is like play a couple instruments, and I cannot sing. You could maybe get started on GarageBand.
Well, there's one that I used in music tech that was a Soundtrap. So I was thinking maybe I could use that.
Okay.
And that's a website one, but you can get like loops and synths and you can play different things on that. But also, if I don't feel like I'm confident enough to compose any type of music, which that's a huge skill to have to like compose and put together music.
Yeah.
Even like with electronic help, I could just like find and I have found some backing tracks on YouTube that was like, hey, you can use this as long as you don't monetize it. And I don't have any fucking ads, so I'm not monetized.
The first one's on the house.
Because I think Corpse, like at least in his early years, he would use a lot of like royalty-free music.
Well, I think generally speaking, the tempo of what he does is like not really the main draw. I think it's just kind of generic, like 8/4 signature or whatever, like just kind of fast tapping. You know, he'll occasionally do like a collab with somebody else that kind of makes the background, but it's just like funk / hype music, and then like his voice.
Yeah. I can do that. I think I can do that. You can,
yeah. You just have to like write lyrics.
Yeah.
That'd probably be the hardest part.
I'm pretty good at writing.
You already have 2 words you can use for the chorus.
Feminine and boy.
Yeah. I don't know. I personally have never written music.
I've not written music either, but like I've written some poetry and like I've done creative writing classes.
Yeah.
So I have like a little bit of experience with writing, and I think I could work my way into adapting it to music.
With being your roommate, I'll have the fortunate privilege of getting to preview perhaps some of the journey along the way.
Yeah, you're gonna hear everything.
That doesn't sound like music. Sounds like experience. Sounds like experience. It'd be a good opener though. That would catch people's attention. You know, some of those artists who like they're more like sound designers than anything. They'll take just sounds they've heard in real life and then just start like remixing them into shit.
Yeah, like a car horn going off, like burp burp, and like they'll mess with it.
Something like that.
So just something that they hear like, oh, that's kind of rhythmic. I can make something out of that. You gotta find inspiration.
Feminine boys. Feminine boys. Feminine boys. Feminine boys.
And I feel like if I'm gonna start anywhere with music, you gotta start with what you love.
You can't do it without the passion.
You gotta make something you care about.
It's your baby.
Yeah. One line I was really proud of was in the video, I was naming off the different different characters in the posters, and I was like, oh yeah, she's rocking that Star 21 or whatever. And you were like, I thought this were Femboys. I said, I can have my fantasy.
After that, I said something like, I was pretending to be you. You can't assume anything about that.
Listen, we each have our own identity.
Like, this is a speech you're telling your dad.
Dad, Laura, could you sit down, please?
I'd like to have a conversation with you.
They like think I'm coming out as gay or something. Like, it's like, hey, like we still love you no matter what.
They
don't know what's coming.
The most cringe-worthy reaction would be they're just like utterly confused. they just don't say anything. He's just like silently looking down, like he's not really sure what to say.
Furry femboy? What?
If you're drunk, you can tell me. I won't be mad.
We can get you help. It's okay.
We can get you help. No, they can't. They wouldn't know. Who would they go to? What kind of help would there be?
I don't know, probably somewhere in Japan, a specialist. If you're gonna go anywhere for that type of thing, it's gonna be Japan, right?
Floor above the diaper cafe.
Yeah.
Not to quote the big G's again, but when Aaron is just like, man, I really need to go to one of those diaper cafes.
He sprouted out of nowhere. There was no context for it.
The way I just had this vision, like, so clearly of him saying that like he's like staring off into the glistening light in like a cafe with like one hand after just taking a very satisfying sip of coffee.
Yeah.
Like one hand resting comfortably.
It sounded like he was daydreaming, like, alone. Like, he didn't mean to say that out loud.
Dan was just there, like, he overheard.
Yeah. But it does sound fun, doesn't it?
Dude.
I wouldn't be... if somebody invited me.
I want to experience everything with it.
Life is about experiences.
As I've become older, I've realized it's not always about the fun. It's about the prestige.
Yeah. Listen, you pulled that up in an argument. Like, listen, that's a nice opinion I got there. But I've been to a diaper cafe in Japan. We got served milk from mommy.
I want to be an old man, and like there's nothing new to me. You know, my grandkids are like, oh, how do we explain the concept of a diaper cafe to him? Don't worry, it was the fall of 24. When I was a younger and sprier man. I sound like Morgan Freeman when I'm older.
Well, that's the dream, right?
I sound like a middle schooler for up until that point, though.
If we ever do go to Japan, which I still would like to at some point, like, we'd have to save up, and it's going to be some years before we do.
Yeah, adjusting to inflation, my original high school plan is going to have some adjustments.
Yeah. If you're on board, I feel like we have to.
That's my one life thing. And I'm not even like a weeaboo or anything. I just, I want to experience it. There's a lot of things I want to do in life. I would love to go skydiving. I would love to visit every country, see as much of the world as I can before I don't have the chance.
Yeah.
And going to a diaper cafe is part of that. Mm-hmm. It's no less important than any other thing on the list.
By the way, since you just brought that up, my brother is getting married like somewhat soon, mm-hmm. and he's having like a bachelor party type trip. He's not doing like a traditional bachelor party where you just get a bunch of strippers and like party and drink all night or whatever. Might do that at some point. I don't know what his life is. One of the things that he's doing is him, me, and a few of his friends are going on a trip to Denver, and gonna do like some stuff. Like we might like hike a mountain, go rafting. And one of the things we are planning on doing, if enough people are on board with it, is going skydiving. So I might be going skydiving this summer.
That sounds awesome, man.
Yeah.
I think you've actually mentioned that to me in passing.
Maybe.
That would be awesome, man, to like have that experience, especially with your family.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that has kept me from doing it is really just kind of like somebody to go with. Because I don't want to be like the weird guy to just like show up by myself. Like, nope. Strap me to you and throw me out your plane, please.
I got no one to talk to you but you.
Because I've wanted to do that probably since like high school. At the time, I was like, that kind of sounds terrifying. But now it's just like, it seems exhilarating. And granted, like, obviously everyone's like, you'd never know until you try, but it's not a once in a lifetime thing. You have plenty of opportunity to do that, and you don't necessarily need to be, holy shit.
Shitting. I'm owning up now.
Do you see what's happening though?
Yeah, I see.
Oh, hence the emphasis on shitting.
Yeah. Shitting my brains out because I can't believe what just happened.
Dude, I was
won a race.
I was so invested in my urine for skydiving.
Yeah. That took you up a bit.
Yeah.
You were in overall 12th before.
Yeah. Thanks for reminding me.
I'm just showing you the growth you've made.
I'm actually semi-considering this. I mean, I would definitely have to be in a position... Like, it'd have to be during the summer, but... one of the things I've always wanted to do with my dad is go flying in like a small cedar airplane, like not a long distance. And we've had this opportunity because we know this kind of family friend that he has his own private plane that he's always like offering to take us up, but we don't really see him enough to kind of get the chance. And recently talked to him and we kind of said a semi-solid date to do it. So like I might be getting that opportunity soon, but more than that, it got me thinking about the logistics of flying on your own anyway. And do you remember when I sent in the Discord those eBay pictures of like the mini ultralight planes?
Yeah.
Some of them, the price isn't that bad. I don't understand anything about flying.
The problem is you get what you pay for.
You do get what you pay for. However, if the minimum is achieving human flight,
might be worth a life.
It's worth considering.
It's tempting.
I can definitely talk about it.
Yeah.
But is that really as cheap as it gets to fly?
I mean, if you want to fly yourself.
Short of somebody very strong throwing me. Like, I do have a location in mind.
To be thrown?
Yeah, it's the same location as where I'd fly. But it's just been this kind of weird thing where every time I'm with my dad, the opportunity presents itself. We've been to like air shows where they'll pay this guy $20 and he'll take you up in his helicopter and go where the fuck you want, or like we'll just kind of happen by it. I got to do it at some point, more out of like obligation to just have that memory than something on my bucket list, because I've been on a plane. It's exhilarating for the first time, but after that, it just doesn't feel so great. I'm not afraid of flying. I just, I'm afraid of the consequences of it.
You're not afraid of flying. You're afraid of falling.
Yes, that's the term for it. Well, I'm also afraid of flying into something. I would imagine if I were to execute my plan that it would look something like the dream sequence from the Bee movie.
I have not seen that movie in several thousand decades.
The main character, a bee, has a dream sequence about going on a picnic date with his would-be human girlfriend, and because he is a bee, he is capable of flight, whereas, as you know, humans are not.
Yeah, I got that.
She gets into a very small plane and says, "Watch this," and fucking proceeds to die, like, horribly.
Is that like the opening of the movie?
No, it's pretty early in the movie, but he does have like that nightmare wake up thing.
Christine!
It makes it better that he's voiced by Jerry Seinfeld.
Were you watching Seinfeld earlier?
I was. Well, I leave it on as like background.
Yeah.
But you can pick it up where you left off. I fell asleep to it the other day, and I just picked up where I left off.
There's not a lot you need to keep up on, I think, in that show. Because the joke is like it's a show about nothing, right?
Kind of.
Each episode is its own thing. There's some through threads, but they're mostly meaningless.
Well, all I've picked up as of to this point is that yeah. So the reason I'm denoting it, or not denoting it, but acknowledging it, is because unlike many other like sitcoms of that time, it actually makes sense, like at any point.
Yeah. Well, it's just kind of like 4 people in their lives.
Yeah.
There's like some hijinks, but like just kind of doing stuff.
Yeah.
It's pretty realistic. Have you seen the last episode where they get arrested?
I'm pretty sure I've seen it on TV, like as a rerun.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten to that point in my watch through again, though.
They go to prison because you kind of realize over time that they've done a bunch of horrible things, committed several crimes.
I guess isn't that kind of like, that's almost kind of a parody of sitcoms themselves, right? Because when you look back on characters through long-standing sitcoms, even like say like The Big Bang Theory, for example, you kind of realize like how much shit they've done over the years.
Yeah, like these aren't good people.
Well, like in The Big Bang Theory, for example, there's an episode where Howard breaks into a NASA laboratory and fucking wrecks the Mars rover. He just gets away with it.
Is that show still going on?
No, I think it wrapped up.
Okay, that's good. It had its time.
It had to die. I'm pretty sure they did like a nice little arc to it, but I enjoyed it, unironically.
Well, there's that show Young Sheldon that's still going, right?
Now that I haven't seen anything of. I know it exists. That's all I'll say about it.
I'm in the same boat. I know it happened.
I feel like
Happening?
I feel like the joke of that character has been played out. Like I didn't need to see it.
Very much.
You know who has like a really appealing voice? Is the voice actress for Cortana. Don't know her name, but has been the same voice actress through the entire, like the TV show, all the games. I'm pretty sure even some of the spin-off games. And she does a really good job at it. Like she's a really good foil to Master Chief because she's got like all the humanity between the two of them, and she's not even a human. Mm-hmm. It's almost comforting to me. Like I could leave on Halo cutscenes as like a background. In any game, the context makes sense, except for the TV show. Actually, I'm not going back to the to shitting on it, but
yes,
like
you are.
just this one thing.
I'm here for it. Keep going.
I'm not going to spoil it, but the way they meet in the show is different than how the game set it up. And I'll just say this, like, they don't actually get along at first. There's probably a proper way to do that or a way that would make it more enjoyable. Because they don't necessarily get along in the games all the time either, but they do that kind of trope of like they're forced to work together, so they have to try to get along. It's a really weird dynamic seeing those characters that are already established like that.
The show had like a lot to live up to, and it just had trouble.
Yeah.
It seems like
I've still yet to catch up on season 2, but I mean, I'm hearing better and better things about it. Like they've actually, redesigned some of the characters. Cortana doesn't look like a CGI person in regular clothes anymore. Like she wasn't even blue.
She wasn't?
She had like kind of a blue hue around her, but no, she was just like Halsey with black hair. Which is so weird that they didn't get an actual person to do that. She's still generated by CGI because they have an actress for Halsey. It just kind of looked like, have you ever seen Tron Legacy? It kind of looked like when they redo Jeff Bridges to make him look like it was like 1987 again. I don't even know why people hated on that movie so much because Tron wasn't especially like popular when it first came out. It was just kind of fun.
If you leave it feeling entertained, then money well spent.
And they got Daft Punk to do to do some of the songs for that. Most of their like songs, they have fucking whole albums that are from that movie, and it's kind of good. I kind of like it. I never really acknowledged it for a lot of the time because I didn't really, I guess, know if it was a genre or what, but I guess they'd call it like EDM. So yeah, I listened to a lot of Daft Punk, and I also even like a lot of their crossovers.
This is only semi-related, but like just on the topic of electronic music. Do you know Dan Avidan's band Sky Hill?
That's his original one, right?
Yeah, the one with I can't remember his last name, but Pete was the other guy in there. Yeah. They recently came out with another album after however many years.
They only ever did the one before that, right?
Yeah, and they got back together to make a new album. I bought a signed CD of it. It is beautiful. I only own 2 albums of Dan's music, that and the Shadow Academy album.
Yeah.
I thought the Shadow Academy album was my favorite. I think the Sky Hill album is my favorite album ever now.
I love a lot of their covers they do in NSP, but also like you've shown me like Shadow Academy songs and stuff that it's like I like them now.
Yeah,
like it's awesome. He's just very talented in general because every band he's in seems to pick up really quickly. Even the covers they've done, like Africa, and the one that is just like You Spin Me Right Round Like a Record. I'm pretty sure that's the whole name of the song. Like, I actually like those better than the original, kind of.
Yeah, they do a lot of awesome covers. Pour Some Sugar on Me was a great one that we did.
Yep. They just have a great sound in general, but I think Dan has, like, kind of a hand in that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm still trying to think of the name of, like, the last name of Pete from Sky Hill. I keep wanting to think Pete Davidson, which is definitely not right. Davidson. And Pete Holmes, which is a comedian. It's Pete Davidson's also a comedian. But it's not those, I
don't think Pete Davidson does any music, does he?
I don't know. He did that song on SNL.
Oh, yeah.
That was a parody song.
That just sounds like him talking in melody, though.
Yep.
The only person who can successfully do that, in my opinion, is Jack Black. He can be on TV and just start, like, singing, like, grab the camera like a Joker, like he's deranged, and just go, and, like, it's a song every time.
Yes.
It's great.
He doesn't talk it though. He puts passion into it.
Yeah, I think it's because he tries really, really hard. And it works.
He's a great musician.
I legitimately enjoy him as a musician. I'm pretty sure on on Conan O'Brien, one of the last sort of things they did was Jack Black coming out on stage or doing some kind of like a public prank thing with Conan, because it was during COVID, so they were doing some like unprecedented things, and he tears a tendon like in his leg during the actual like the real deal take, and he has to be for real escorted in like an ambulance.
Oh wow.
But like it involved an ambulance with like as part of the prank.
Oh,
I'll have to show you that. Conan is standing there really confused. He's just like screaming in pain on the ground. Ah! But like he's supposed to be, and then like I think they're just kind of like confused when he doesn't do the next thing he's supposed to do.
Have you seen? I don't remember what the comedian's name was, but they're on stage like doing a just comedy show, and then they have a heart attack or a stroke or something and die on stage, and people think that person is doing a joke because like maybe it was their sense of humor or whatever.
What?
But then like it just takes a couple minutes because like they grab their chest and they like clench up and fall to the ground, and everybody's just kind of like laughing because they think it's a joke.
What?
They're just laying on the ground, dying or dead, and people just like kind of stop for a second and then they keep laughing because they think it's still part of the joke.
Oh my god.
I don't know how long it took, but yeah, it's really morbid to watch.
Yeah, he probably would have. Well, I shouldn't assume it's a he, but
I think it was a man.
Because yeah, you would just like keep laughing the longer they stayed on the ground.
Yeah, because like that situation might be funny in a certain context.
But like that's valuable time they could have been saved.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's a dangerous career to do that, to have a heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen Norm Macdonald?
Yeah, I've seen him. I've heard some of his comedy stuff.
Yeah.
Not an avid follower of him.
So see, he kind of just like randomly died during COVID too. I like his like original stuff. He's got like this kind of psychopathic vibe though, because most of the time his jokes don't land. It's kind of his delivery.
A lot of his jokes, he talks for like 3 minutes.
He talks he tells like actual stories. Like I'm not gonna like steal one of his jokes, but to paraphrase, he tells a joke about like he got caught smoking behind his garage by his dad, and he's like his big head came out, and I saw it wasn't attached to anything, and it was just standing there like a balloon, and he caught me smoking, and his big head was there, and he just he keeps like reiterating how his dad is some kind of Junji Ito monster. Like
it does sound like he's never gonna get to the point.
It really, yeah. But if you like that kind of humor, then he's funny right out of the gate.
Mm-hmm. My dad sent me one of him on Conan. At a certain point, Conan's like, "Do we have time?" Like, he's looking at the cameraman like, "Do we need to wrap this up right now?"
He never stops talking.
He's telling a joke about like his neighbor moved in. I'm gonna try to paraphrase this one as well.
Yeah.
And this isn't like the best joke I've heard by him, but it's like, wow, we waited that long for that. He's telling a joke about how his neighbor moved in, who, I don't remember what their job was, but they had like a specific job. Something about logic, like a scientist of logic or whatever. And it's like, oh, well, I'll give you an example of like what being that means. So, do you have a doghouse? And Norm's like, yeah. Okay, so I presume you have a dog. Yeah. So that means you probably have like a family and kids. Yeah. So that means you probably have a wife that you're married to. And it's like, yeah. So you're a straight man. Yeah. And it's like, okay, so that's kind of what being in that job means. Like you kind of make correlations to figure out a solution to a problem, like get an answer through other means. So Norm takes that and is like, okay, well, nice to meet you. And then I'll see you around. Norm is like on the bus or at his job or something, and he's talking with his friend about like a neighbor that moved in, and it's like telling him about like, oh, he's telling me about his job. He's like this, whatever. And the guy's like, oh, what is that? The logic, whatever. And it's like, oh, well, I'll give you an example. Norm asked his coworker, do you have a doghouse? And the guy's like, no. So Norm says, oh, you must be one of them queers.
Oh my god. That's the punchline.
Yeah, that's the joke. That's it.
My god. Oh, you must be one of them queers then. It's like we waited that long.
Yeah. And he did not do it that quickly.
He could have skipped 95% of that. It's just like he could have just said that.
And you can like tell in Conan's face like it wasn't worth it.
Did he at least?
He's like handed face, like, okay, time for commercial break.
Did he at least get Conan to laugh?
Yeah, I think he did chuckle.
I'm still waiting for him to show back up one day. Like he faked his death.
Gotcha.
Anyway, and he doesn't have any explanation. He just picks up where he left off.
So I came back from the dead one day.
So I came back from the dead, and everyone thought I died from COVID, and so did I. Really, I got out of my grave and said, wow, this thing isn't really any joke. I better get the vaccine.
I don't know where he's from, but he definitely seems like the kind of Midwest dad that you talk to.
I think he's Canadian. Unless he's lying, which would be hilarious, because it seems exactly like the kind of thing he would do. I'm pretty sure he said he's Canadian. Norm Macdonald's entire existence is like an anti-joke.
Those can get me really hard sometimes, though.
Yeah. Dude, the one of, I think they're playing Guts and Glory or something. Dan is just like, what's green and has wheels? Grass! I lied about the wheels.
I don't know if this is an anti-joke, but have you heard the one that's like, so when I was a kid, I was at school and somebody like pushed me around. My friend Jeremy pushed me around. So I was like, you're a big wad of cotton. Like they say something nonsensical.
You're a big wad of cotton.
They just come up with like a fake insult to say.
Yeah.
And Jeremy was like, oh my God, I can't believe you called me that. And wait, I realized I set up this joke wrong because you're supposed to tell it in third person, not in the first person. Okay, I'm telling this in third person now.
It's fine. Keep going.
So Jeremy went up to his friend and was like, yeah, she's the one that called me a wad of cotton. And the teacher's like, I gotta send you home. You can't be calling people that like in school. I can't have that in my class. And the little girl's like, why? I didn't. What does that mean? Like, is there some sort of meaning to that I didn't know? Like, what is this? And the teacher's like, I can't tell you. I don't want to speak about that in this classroom. You ask your parents when you get home. The parents get a call about this. And the mother picks up, and the teacher says, like, I need you to come pick your daughter up. She called her classmate up, a wad of cotton, in class, and the mom is like, oh, man, okay, well, I'll go and pick them up. They can't be doing that in class.
Okay.
And the mother comes to pick up the daughter, and the daughter is asking the mother, like, what does it mean? Like, didn't think of it. I just spat out the first thing that came to my mouth. And the mother's like, I don't. Ask your father when he gets home. I don't want to tell you. I don't like talking about that.
Is this a Norm Macdonald joke?
It kind of sounds like it.
Just keeps going.
The mother and the daughter get home, and the mother's like, I gotta go back to work. Ask your father about that when he gets home. The mom goes back to work, and the daughter's just sitting at home like, I don't understand. Like, what does this mean? Then the father gets home from work, and the daughter asks like, oh, okay, so the reason I'm at home from school right now is because I was at school. Jeremy was pushing me around. I called him a wad of cotton, and he told the teacher, and the teacher told mom, and mom brought me home, and nobody's telling me what it means. I don't get it. So the father says, listen, I know you're young, but my daughter can't be saying those types of things in my household. I'm really disappointed in you. I have to ask you to leave the house, go stay with your grandparents or something for the night. I just can't deal with this right now. I got a lot on my plate, so maybe you can ask your grandparents what calling somebody a wad of cotton means. So then the daughter goes over to the grandparents' house. And she's walking, and as she's walking, like, what does this mean? I can't believe Dad kicked me out of the house. Like, this can't be is this really as bad as they're saying? And she gets to the grandparents' house, and she asks her grandfather, she's like, I was at school, and my friend Jeremy was pushing me around, and I called him a wad of cotton, and he told the teacher, and teacher told mom, and mom told my dad, and he said, go out of the house, so now I'm here. And I just don't know what it means. Can you please tell me what it means? Nobody's telling me what it means. And the grandfather was like, okay, I see what the problem is here. I'll tell you what it means to call somebody that. And he tells the daughter, and the daughter's like, oh my God, I didn't realize that's what this means. I gotta go apologize to Jeremy. So she gets out of the house. She's like, oh, I don't have anybody drive me. Like, Dad wouldn't drive me. So the school's not that far. I'll just run to school. Because I need to apologize for this. I didn't realize what I said. So she's running to school. She gets to, like, just across the road from the school. She runs across and she gets hit by a bus.
I'm saying, call me off.
You never heard that before?
No. Dude,
You're really wondering what a
I
wad
wanted
of
to
cotton
find out
means.
what it means. I thought you were going to tell me when the grandpa...
No. Never find out.
She gets hit by a bus.
Yeah. I didn't tell that right. Like, it's been a while since I heard the joke. I probably missed a bunch of details or, like, told it wrong or whatever. But that's the idea. Like, you just lead it on for way too long.
Oh my God.
You replace wad of cotton with any insult. That's not a real insult. It's just like, wait, what does this mean? Because as a listener, you're listening like, is that a real thing? Like, is that an insult? I haven't heard that before. I'm along. I'm here. Take me on this journey.
It really does sound like a Norm Macdonald joke. He's just never stopped talking. People are probably starting to get mad with how long he's talking, and then that really threw me off. Probably as shocking as getting hit by a bus in real life.
The first time I heard that, I was waiting in line for a ride at Cedar Point, and I heard some like guy telling it to his other friend up in line. I was like, I gotta remember that.
Oh my God. Have you ever heard the joke about the aristocrats?
I think so. I feel like you might have told me it.
I probably have.
Tell me it again.
It's
because I want to hear it again.
It's a variation every time. Like, nobody can tell the joke the same way twice. There's a talent agent that recruits people for live shows, and he's sitting in his office at his desk by himself, and a family walks in. He says, hello, why don't you all have a seat? I assume you're here for the talent scouting. So there's a grandmother, the mother and father, 2 children, and a dog. The father begins by getting up, dusting off his pants. They were dusty for some reason, and punches the mother in the face. She's bleeding all over the place. The talent agent is a little frightened by this point. Then the children start fighting and biting each other, pulling at each other, and they go down. They're wrestling under the desk right now, while the mother and father are standing there with the mother's nose bleeding. Suddenly, she grabs the father by the dick and starts twisting it around as he screeches in pain. While this is happening, the grandmother gets up, spits out her dentures, and starts sucking off the dog. And
Sally's like, oh my God, what's going on here?
Then the children start actually leaving blood on each other too, because of the amount of just sheer biting they're doing to each other.
Taking skin off.
The father starts going ham on the mother, just beating the shit out of her, and then begins stripping her down to her bare clothes and doing unspeakable acts. I'm sorry. Let me compose myself. The dog finishes in the grandmother's mouth, and then it leaves, never to be seen again. However, the grandmother then proceeds to start doing this to all the other phallic-membered parts of her family. And then the father begins beating her, too. All the while, the children are basically just, almost skinless at this point. This goes on for quite some time. The door is behind them, so the talent agent is too frightened to move, so he can't leave. Until finally they subside. He said, "Who the fuck are you people?" And they say, "We are the aristocrats." And the father takes out a gun, kills all of his family members, then himself. Well, the talent scout is left there shocked. He has no idea what to say. Then suddenly a cop walks in. And arrests the talent scout with the last thing he's saying before the cop puts him in the back of the car, saying, "Oh, you expect me to believe they did this to themselves?" You're supposed to tell it for 30 minutes.
They just keep getting watchier and watchier.
Yeah. I forgot to also tell the part where he gives him the gun. It's so fucking stupid, though.
Well, he shoots himself in the chest, and his last dying movement is giving it to the agent or something.
Or he shoots himself on the desk, and the gun is right there on the desk.
Falls right in front of him.
Yeah. Have you heard of the one about the bus out in Arizona?
Does it have something to do with a wad of cotton and a little girl?
It does not.
Okay.
So there's a bus out in Arizona. They're driving around. The cliffs are really steep there, and the roads are very narrow, so they're being very cautious. But the bus driver is good. He's not too good, though, because they slip up. They drive off one of the roads. They all die. The bus explodes, and they all wake up in heaven. God is there in heaven, and he says, I'm so sorry this happened to all of you. You all get one wish on me to have forever in heaven. They form a line, and one by one, they all have the wish to be beautiful. The first person says, I wish I looked like my favorite movie star. It's granted. The person behind them said, I wish I looked like I did when I was young because I was radiant and beautiful. So on and so forth. Except for the person at the end of the line starts snickering. God notices this once, but brushes it off and goes back to granting people's wishes, which continue to be vanity or something vain, that they were beautiful. And they're almost to the end of the line by this point, with heaven being introduced to a new flurry of beautiful angels flying around. And by this point, the person at the end of the line is laughing their ass off for unknown reasons. And then finally, when God gets to them, he says, "Welcome to heaven, my child. What is your wish?" And he stops laughing. And he looks God dead in the eyes. And he says, I wish they were all fucking ugly again.
Wow, the last person really has a lot of power. God's like, well. Everybody else is already left. Like, they're already in heaven, hanging out, having a good time.
Still at the gate. Are you sure you wouldn't want to look beautiful or something? Or perhaps a lot of money? Or nope. They're all fucking ugly again.
Maybe that one got sorted wrong.
He wasn't supposed to be there.
Yeah. He's in the group.
He was on the bus, though.
Yeah.
A very short 2-sentence joke, basically. How do you stop a clown from smiling?
How?
Kill his family with an axe. That one I tell a lot as like an icebreaker if the subject of jokes ever come up, but I never get a laugh. If you subvert my expectations, if the punchline is like genuinely that much funnier than like what you expect it to be, you'll probably get a laugh out of me. Mm-hmm. I also just like situational. I think that's why Seinfeld gets to me so much, because like I could just look at it at any given point and, you know, see like George stabbing somebody to death. It's just like, what are you doing? I thought he was going to make a move.
No, George, I can't be doing this stuff.
Elaine walks in. Hello. Oh my God. I like the one where he gets a job taking care of people in a senior home and then takes them in a birthday cake, but it gets out of hand because the candles light on fire and he leaves them all to die. Yeah. He just runs out in like a brisk walk and he's like, it's an inferno in there, I tell you.
Yeah, while he's like shoving people out of the way.
While they're all like looking for the exit inside.
I'm pretty sure he throws someone person to the ground.
Yeah. We never went to Second Chance. I still have my beef with them. The last time we went, I found my Genesis and I was missing my other controller. We were just gonna go through games. And
Second Chance is a game store, they have like new games and old games, different systems.
Yeah,
there's all types of stuff.
For context, that's that. It seems like they have new owners from the first time that we saw them, because they have a really weird return policy where you can buy anything from them, but you can't return it even if you just bought it for any reason. I bought a Genesis controller from them, which they said was tested, that it definitely worked, and like everything was right about it. I was like, cool, so I don't see a problem with this. And I got home and nothing about it worked. And I drove right back. I still had the receipt. And I was like, hey, can I return this?
Like within an hour or two.
Yeah. And they were like, oh, sorry, no refunds. They didn't even like acknowledge anything about it. Like, oh, well, I thought it was tested, or, you know, perhaps it was a mistake or something. They were just like, well, I hate to be a stick in the mud about it, but our policy does say no refunds. And I did actually try arguing with them. I was like, your policy also says that you have to be honest, right? You said this was tested. Mm. You sold it to me like knowing that I was under the impression that it was tested and nothing about it works. You can test it here and now if you'd like. And they were like, well, we don't have one that works right now, but if we did, you could switch it out for that. And that would be the exception.
Very helpful. Like, it doesn't help me at all.
Great.
Go away.
Awesome. So yeah, now I just have like I did find my other one. I just have a third one that's fucking broken. That's not even the first time that happened to me, because I also bought an Xbox controller from them for the original Xbox. And the same shit happened. The only thing is, like, with that one, I think they switched it out for me with one that they happened to come across that worked.
Yeah.
That's straight up just, like, lying. Mm. It's kind of like theft, because I kind of overpaid for it. And they told me with confidence that, like, yep, we tested it. She's absolutely good to go. You can see it if you want. I was like, no, I believe you. Well, I don't know why you would lie about anything like that. Yeah, so I was a little upset, because I know it's one particular employee helps me out in some capacity, because I'm pretty sure they do. Like, how can they only have one but also still sell the console?
They get what they get from people like coming in to sell stuff, right?
Yeah.
So if people want to just buy a controller, then they probably run out of those quicker.
I remembered that too. That was another fucking angle that I tried, because I was like, okay, well, you buy things, right? That's on your sign, and like, yeah, we do.
Okay, buy this from what you said.
And they wouldn't fucking buy it from me, because they're like, well, that's kind of a conflict of interest in it. And I was like, how is this a conflict of interest? I completely forgot about that. Like, I almost fucking beat them at their own game. And they still wouldn't fucking do it. Like, it was kind of fucking criminal.
I like to imagine you say, well, like, okay, well, I can't return it. Then how about you buy it off me? And they're like, well, it doesn't work, sir.
So I should have been like, well, how do you fucking know? You didn't test it. I tested it. It works fine. What do you say about that?
Yeah, exactly.
That dude's gotta go. Because he was being a dick for no reason. He wasn't even like sympathetic. Did you want my other thumb up your ass too?
I know the first one was thick and oddly bulbous at the joints, but she wanted a little more stimulation.
Was he already upset? Was he angry? Was he angry about something when he sold me the controller the first time?
Maybe it
Did
was
somebody
like a bad
go
day.
in there, lick their finger, and like stick it in his eye in between me going home? I don't understand.
Hope we see him here today.
If I see him again, I'm gonna fucking fly him like that. I'm gonna look like that fucking
The dude who jumped at the judge. Start wailing on him.
It's like right over the counter.
I watched that video after I edited the Lethal Company video, like that you told me about that.
Yeah.
It's fucking impressive. He did a big jump.
Actually, Kai told me about that. Then he sent the animation of that in a Discord.
An animation?
There's like a flash animated like jump scare basically from the POV of the judge. And like then I went back and watched the real thing. That dude jumps like Black Panther. Like he just like leaves the ground.
Not to toot our own horns too much, but like this is a good episode.
Some wild shit since the last episode.
Yeah, we missed a week, so we had to pick back up.
We're not talking about Michael Myers in this one.
Sure, we brought him back up again.
Until just then.
Who would win in a fight, Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees?
According to Death Battle.
Did they do a death battle on it?
They did. I'm trying to remember. Kai would know. We should just call him and put him on speaker.
Is he on the Discord right now?
No, he's not.
Ah, dang.
Oh, should we call him?
Sure.
He didn't answer. Well, I guess we should just finish the episode. Kai, if we don't hear from you by the time the episode ends, just let us know in the comments. Don't even want you to answer in the Discord.
Listen to every episode, right?
He's supposed to be on tonight, though.
Kai would listen to every episode, right?
He's the -1 view. He's the one where you lost a view. What was that? Which one was that? That was like a one-off game, right?
Oh, the Escape Together. The first episode of that. The Escape game that we played. I released that and it wasn't getting many views, but then I checked it the next day and it lost a view. Somehow. I don't know what the hell happened with YouTube. I don't know if somebody watched it and then deleted their account so their view doesn't count anymore, or YouTube had like some sort of glitch.
Is that how it works?
I don't know. I have no clue.
It's got to be. The only thing I could assume is like it's a glitch.
Maybe. I haven't been on YouTube long enough to know. I don't know the intricacies of it.
Because you can watch. It still counts as views as like a guest, right?
I believe so, yeah.
I can't think of any reason that it would lose a view after the day, though. I also just want to say, like, this is a fun concept. Thank you for letting me be a part of this, because I don't know how many other podcasts, what other content out there is like this, but, like, you know, just playing the game, no base cam, no, like, footage, no attempt at the challenge. It's a really, like, good formula. It works.
Mm-hmm. And I think we had a unique situation with this, because this was already happening before we were recording it. This is what we usually do.
We're just capturing it.
There's the joke of the name again. But yeah, like, we would just play Mario Kart and have fun.
Something I would like to do with this game, though, is get a lot better at it. Enough that, like, this isn't the status quo. I have Mario Kart for the DS. Even on, like, break at work, I'll just, like, whip it out, and I usually do pretty well on it. This is, I mean, motion controls, it's a bit different. It's generally actually, like, a lot easier.
The DS is, or this is?
The DS.
Except it wouldn't make sense if you said this was easier, but you do better on that. Oh, no, nah!
Oh! Nice. Me. Thanks, me.
All right, hi.
You're so cool.
Yeah.
You want to come to my birthday party, me? Oh, I'm
no, thank you.
Doing I have something going on then. I haven't even said when it was.
I'm a busy guy.
I would, but no.
I have cancer. I'm dying in right now.
Dying in right now. Did you ever get through Dracula?
Dracula? Oh, reading the book?
Yeah.
No.
I don't know why I got hit with that, but I was suddenly thinking of the three hoes. Or is it two?
I believe it's three. The three vampire women that come into him in the night, and he's real excited about it. Oh my god, they're gonna bite my neck. Oh, wow.
We have to watch the movie, the 30 Serial one.
Don't tell my wife about this.
Where they have like an anime standoff.
In the book, he's writing in his journal, talking to the viewer, the reader sometimes, And he's like, I know my wife might read this, but it's the truth. I was very exhilarated. It's some different wording than that, but yeah, he's saying like I was fucking horny for these 3 vampire women. They were about to fuck me up. So Dracky Boy came to save me.
God. He's like, don't worry, I got you, bro.
These women aren't what you think.